Imagine a world where maps must be redrawn. A world where the familiar shapes of our continents and islands are constantly shifting, not due to political changes or natural disasters, but because entire nations are disappearing. Some countries, once vibrant dots of color, begin to fade. These nations, rich in culture and history, are slowly being erased from the map. They face a threat greater than any war disappearance. The rising tides and relentless waves are claiming their lands inch by inch, day by day. This is not science fiction. This is our reality. The impacts of climate change are no longer a distant threat. They are happening now, and they are devastating. Island nations, entire cultures, are at risk. These communities, with their unique traditions and ways of life, are on the front lines of this crisis. Rising sea levels swallow their shores inch by inch. The very essence of their existence is being threatened as the ocean encroaches further inland. The very ground beneath their feet is vanishing. Homes, schools, and entire communities are being washed away. These are not just statistics on a page. They represent real people, real lives, and real futures that are being lost. They are places of laughter, tradition, life. These islands are home to vibrant communities that have thrived for generations. Places where children play on beaches, soon to be reclaimed by the sea. The innocence of childhood is being overshadowed by the looming threat of displacement. We must open our eyes to their plight. The world cannot afford to turn a blind eye to the suffering of these island nations. We must understand why these nations are vanishing. The science is clear and the evidence is overwhelming. Climate change is the driving force behind this crisis. We must act before it is too late. The time for action is now. We must come together as a global community to protect these vulnerable nations and preserve their rich heritage for future generations. The culprit is a familiar one: climate change. This phenomenon, driven by human activities, is altering the very fabric of our planet. From the burning of fossil fuels to deforestation, our actions have set off a chain reaction that is now threatening our very existence. The Earth's temperature rises, glaciers melt, and sea levels climb. This isn't just a distant problem, it's happening right now, affecting millions of lives. Coastal cities are seeing unprecedented flooding, and island nations are slowly being swallowed by the ocean. For low-lying countries, this is a death sentence. These nations, often with limited resources, are on the front lines of climate change. They face the dual threat of losing their land and their cultural heritage. But nature is not the only force at work. Human factors exacerbate the crisis. Political instability, economic inequality, and social unrest make it even harder for these nations to cope with the environmental changes. Political instability, poverty, and environmental degradation all play a part. When governments are unstable, they struggle to implement effective climate policies. Poverty forces people to exploit natural resources unsustainably, leading to further environmental damage. These factors weaken a nation's ability to adapt and survive. Communities are left vulnerable with little to no support to rebuild after natural disasters. The cycle of poverty and environmental degradation continues, making it nearly impossible to break free. Imagine a farmer in Bangladesh, his fields flooded with salt water. His crops, once a source of sustenance and income, are now ruined. The soil, contaminated with salt, can no longer support agriculture. His livelihood gone, he is forced to flee his ancestral home. This is not just a loss of property, but a loss of identity and community. He joins the growing ranks of climate refugees, people displaced by environmental changes. This is the human face of vanishing nations. These are real people with real stories facing unimaginable hardships. Their plight is a stark reminder of the urgent need for action. The time to act is now. We must come together as a global community to address this crisis. From reducing carbon emissions to supporting sustainable development, every action counts. We cannot stand idly by as entire cultures are erased. These communities have rich histories and traditions that deserve to be preserved. By protecting them, we protect our shared human heritage. The future of these nations, and indeed our planet, hangs in the balance. The choices we make today will determine the world we leave for future generations. It's time to act to ensure a sustainable and equitable future for all. I have traveled to many countries, witnessed their beauty and resilience, but I have also seen the fear in the eyes of those who live on the edge. In the South Pacific, I met villagers forced to relocate from their homes. Rising sea levels had poisoned their fresh water supply, making their island uninhabitable. Their story is not unique. From the Maldives to the Marshall Islands, climate change is displacing communities and erasing history. The loss goes beyond borders on a map. It is a loss of languages, traditions, and ways of life passed down for generations. I remember the Maldives, a paradise of turquoise waters and white sand beaches, but beneath the surface, a crisis brewed. The capital, Male, is a densely populated island barely above sea level. The government has even considered buying land in other countries, a last resort for their people. The Maldivian people are fighting back, building seawalls and planting mangroves, but their struggle is a stark reminder of the global challenge we face. The fate of the Maldives is a warning. What happens when a country can no longer provide for its people? Where do its citizens go when their home disappears beneath the waves? Section 5. The colors of culture fading fast. It's not just the land that's vanishing, but also the rich tapestry of cultures that call these places home. Each nation at risk holds centuries of traditions, languages, and stories. These are the threads that connect us to our past and shape our future. Imagine the intricate dances of the Pacific Islanders passed down through generations, silenced forever. Or the vibrant textiles of Bangladesh, their patterns lost to the rising tides. Each culture lost diminishes us all. It's a loss of diversity, a loss of beauty, a loss of shared human experience. Section 6. Nature's tapestry unraveling. The natural world is also under threat. Vanishing nations are often home to unique ecosystems found nowhere else on Earth. Coral reefs teeming with life, rainforests bursting with biodiversity, all at risk of disappearing beneath the waves. These are not just pretty landscapes, they are vital parts of our planet's health. Consider the Amazon rainforest, often called the lungs of the Earth. Its destruction has global consequences, impacting everything from climate change to rainfall patterns. We must protect these natural wonders, not just for the sake of the countries they inhabit, but for the well-being of our planet. Section 7. A shared responsibility. The disappearance of nations may seem like a distant problem, but it is a global crisis that demands our attention. We are all connected, and the actions of one nation affect us all. We cannot ignore the plight of those on the front lines of climate change. We must act with compassion and urgency to address this challenge. Supporting international agreements that limit greenhouse gas emissions is crucial. Investing in renewable energy and sustainable practices is no longer optional. It is essential. Every action, no matter how small, can make a difference. We must educate ourselves and others, raise awareness, and demand change from our leaders. Section 8. Echoes of what was. The thought of entire countries vanishing is a sobering one. It forces us to confront the fragility of our existence and the interconnectedness of our world. But we must not give in to despair. Instead, let us find inspiration in the resilience of the human spirit and the power of collective action. The stories of these vanishing nations must not be forgotten. They serve as a reminder of what is at stake and the urgency with which we must act. Let us listen to the echoes of their laughter, their songs, their stories, and find the strength to create a future where all nations can thrive. Section 9. A future remembered. The future is not yet written. It lies before us like an open book, waiting for the ink of our actions to fill its pages. Each decision we make today will shape the world of tomorrow. We have the power to change course, to steer our collective destiny towards a more sustainable and equitable future. Every tree planted, every piece of litter picked up is a step towards healing our planet, to choose a different path. At every fork in the road, we have the opportunity to make choices that reflect our highest values and aspirations. A path where nations do not vanish, but adapt and flourish. Imagine cities where tradition and innovation coexist harmoniously, where cultural festivals thrive and where the past is honored even as we embrace the future. Imagine a world where sustainable practices are the norm, where urban farming feeds our communities and eco-friendly cityscapes are a testament to our commitment to the environment, where renewable energy powers our lives, reducing our dependence on fossil fuels and mitigating the impacts of climate change, and where international cooperation tackles global challenges. In this envisioned future, nations come together to address issues that transcend borders, from climate change to global health crises. This is the future we must fight for, a future where activism and community efforts lead to tangible change, and where children from diverse backgrounds play together in harmony. A future where the beauty and diversity of all cultures are celebrated, where vibrant parades and festivals showcase the rich tapestry of human heritage, and where no nation faces the threat of being erased from the map. In this world, every country, no matter how small, has a place and a voice. Let us remember the lessons of the vanishing nations, the stories of those who came before us, and the rich histories that have shaped our present, and build a world where their stories are not tales of warning, but sources of inspiration. Let us preserve our cultural heritage and learn from the past to create a better future, but tales of resilience, hope, and a future remembered. Together, we can build a world where every story is a testament to human strength and the enduring spirit of hope.